Thank you. Please be seated. Our main session for today is a panel discussion on certain pertinent issues in the field of higher education, particularly with respect to academic collaborations. We hope that this session would bring to the forefront ideas and doubts related to the national education policy, multidisciplinary studies, and the concept of cluster colleges. Our panelists for this session are Reverend Dr. L. Joji Reddy, Vice President of the Xavier Board of Higher Education in India. Our second panelist is Reverend Dr. M. Arokisamy Xavier S.J., the Principal of St. Joseph's College Autonomous, Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu. And the third panelist is Dr. Sister Christine Coutinho, the Principal of Loretta College, Kolkata. And this panel discussion will be moderated by Reverend Dr. Maria Charles Anthony Swami, the Secretary of the Education Commission, CBCI, New Delhi. To introduce and welcome the moderator of this session, I humbly invite Father Dr. Maria Anthony Raj, Principal, Sacred Heart College, Tirupattur.
Good morning. Dear friends, this is my honor and privilege to introduce Reverend Father Dr. Maria Charles. Okay, just that they have given me a brief profile, I'll just read, then I'll conclude with my own words. Fine. Father Maria Charles is just now working as a National Secretary for the Office of Education and Culture, Catholic Bishops Conference of India. Just now he's working as a Salesian. Prior to that, he was a Director of Don Bosco Youth Animation Asia and Executive Secretary, okay, for 12 years. And then he has Masters in Social Work, which he did in our college. He's a past people of Sacred Heart, Tirupattur. And also he has done Masters in Communication, and then his doctorate in Development Communication from Salesian University, Rome. He has taught in various universities in Tokyo and also Italy, Spain, and other countries. Father has been editor of two magazines in the province of Chennai, and he has published 85 books. And he has written and edited 11 books. Then he has organized many seminars and other things. Father told me not to say too many things. Anyway, I have to say. Dear friends, I know Father Maria Charles personally. He's my senior. Okay, even as a student, we used to look up to him. He's a very good orator and speaker. And wherever he goes, whichever office he takes up, he leaves his footmark. Okay, fine. In fact, he has been away from the province for more than 25 years or so. Yeah, because of his talent, he has been always at national level or international level. Okay, he has not been in the province. He is only a visiting professor in the province of Chennai. Okay, fine. Father, see, when he was a director of what he called Don Bosco Animation, he developed a kind of assessment for the schools in line with NAC. All the Don Bosco schools of India were assessed by this tool. Okay, so that's why he said wherever he goes, he leaves his signature mark. Okay, and then also he was working in our general ed room. During his period, they came out with a beautiful book called Salesian Youth Work, a frame of reference for the entire congregation. That's a kind of directory for all the youth work across the world. Father is also very, very loving, very friendly. You will know if you deal with him. So we are privileged to have Father Maria Charles with us for this morning to chair this panel discussion. Thank you, Father. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I humbly request the moderator and all our panelists to kindly take your seats on the dais.
So good morning to all of you. Not loud enough. Come on. Huh? Good morning. Yeah, good. I'm sure that the appam and the stew that they have given this morning doesn't put you to sleep. Okay? Huh? Yeah, it was very tasty and Good. This morning we have come to discuss about a very important topic in higher education. You know, the NEP, the National Education Policy of 2020, has brought in quite a few changes in the higher education and has brought forth a few important challenges. One of them is the multidisciplinary approach that which we will be discussing this morning. And there is another concept of a 4-year degree course which we have to deal with and learn how to change our courses, our colleges into that. Then there is online digital education which is bound to come because of this multidisciplinary approach. And will it lead to a more digital divide in the country? We have to see. And they are going to introduce academic bank of credit scheme. So even if you complete a year of your studies or 2 years of your studies and come back after a few years, or you can do your courses in different colleges and like a bank credit, there will be an academic bank credit. We need to discuss more about that. And then there will be blended mode of teaching learning, which is also something which we need to probe into more and more. Then regulation of autonomy of higher education is another huge challenge we have to face. Then entry of foreign universities into India, that's not going to be another huge challenge. So these are the few challenges that are envisaged in the NEP 2020. But today we are going to discuss on one important topic, that is multidisciplinary approach and cluster universities. Okay. So the NEP 2020 section 10.1 on page 34, it says, the main thrust of this policy regarding higher education is to end the fragmentation of higher education by transforming higher education institutions into large multidisciplinary universities, colleges, and higher education institute clusters, knowledge hubs, each of which will aim to have 3,000 or more students. That is one section. And the section 10.2 says, the ancient Indian universities like Takshashila, Nalanda, Vallabhi, and Viramshila, which had thousands of students from India and the world studying in vibrant multidisciplinary environments, amply demonstrated the type of great success that large multidisciplinary research and teaching universities could bring India. Urgently needs to bring back this Indian tradition. So these are the few things that they are planning with regard to the multidisciplinary and cluster universities. And we have 3 great panelists here with us today who would be speaking to us about what this means. First of all, what a cluster university would mean, and what type of effect this would have on us and in the future of higher education. This is going to be the topic. And the first speaker today will be, with your permissions, okay, with Father Orikesami Xavier, Jesuit, and the second one would be Father Joji Reddy, and then Sister Christine. Okay, this is the order which we will follow. And I would now like to introduce Father Orikesami Xavier, Jesuit, to you. Principal of St. Joseph's Autonomous College, accredited at A++ by NAC Cycle 4. Authored 9 books and is the editor of Indian Historical Studies. He is a governing body member of St. Xavier's University of Kolkata and a few other colleges like Sacred Heart College, Tirupattur, and Stella Maris in Chennai, and I think a few other colleges. He has visited many countries and presented papers both in India and abroad. And as I heard from another principal, that he is a very, very helpful person when it comes to issues of higher education, as well as probably we could see his own activity in the executive body of Xavier Board, and where he is fully involved and is always helpful. And I also know that during the COVID time too, he had taken up certain leadership, with in the Xavier board to conduct certain research and to do certain studies and all that. So thank you for the Aragaswamy for being with us. And today he will share with us now about the first topic of what a cluster university.
Dear Chair and my dear co-panelists, and my dear esteemed sisters and fathers, and of course some professors are here along with us. We are very happy to start this day with this session. As you all know, we are going to have a panel discussion on cluster colleges, a collaborative step for transforming higher education institutions into multidisciplinary institutions, degree awarding colleges or universities. Fine. So this is the topic. Now, I would like to just present what is given in the draft which was published by the University Grants Commission few months ago. Fine. Now, in the draft commission, they have given few aspects. We are going to discuss only one aspect, that is cluster colleges. Fine. Now, I also would like to thank Father Arakkal and Sister, our General Secretary, Sister Teresa, for giving me an opportunity. I think all of you would have read or would have been familiar with this topic. Of course, we have been discussing this NEP for nearly 2 years. And most of the states have accepted, if not accepted, at least agreed to follow the NEP, though there are few challenges, issues, concerns are there. With regard to Tamil Nadu, I am coming from Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu government doesn't accept, and most of our colleges also don't accept this policy. But anyhow, it is good that we should know the policy, what it is given there. Then only we can go into this. Of course, there are few good aspects and good points are there. We will discuss it, and I would like to highlight the certain main elements of that. Before coming to the introduction, I would like to give you one or two aspects why this kind of section should come here in this aspect, in this part of the new educational policy. Fine. Now, as you all know, NEP aims at overall development of an individual in a higher education institution. That's what we are also doing. We have been doing for years, more than a century, and we have been doing that. And it says to develop intellectual aesthetic, social, physical, emotional, ethical, and moral facets of an individual in an integrated manner. That's what we have been doing. All the colleges, practically all the colleges, we have been doing that. Now they are aiming at that level. Fine. Now, coming to when they have this as an aim, fine, they say it cannot be done in the standalone institution or in the colleges like ours. Okay, fine. India, it says, India currently has various standalone and domain-specific institutions and universities, which means, according to them, it is fragmented. Okay, fine. So, in this context, they would like to end this fragmentation of higher education institutions. Fine. And what to do? To transform these institutions into multidisciplinary colleges or universities or institutions. Fine. By doing fine lot. Now, this is what we are going to discuss. This is kind of introduction. And coming to the point straight. Now, even in multidisciplinary higher education institutions, the disciplinary boundaries are so rigid that opportunities to learn and explore different disciplines are less explored. So in our institutions, according to them, we, of course, in my understanding, we have so many disciplines in our institutions. Of course, we may not have, for example, medicine or engineering or business school, or nursing, all these things in our campus, fine. but still our courses are diversified. For example, most of our colleges have more than 20 programs of different types: commerce, science, arts, even science also. We would have heard, no, we would be running the conventional courses like physics, mathematics, fine. The latest courses like data science, artificial intelligence, all those things, fine. In my understanding, of course we do, because to run a medical college is not that easy, fine. To conduct an engineering college is not that easy, fine. So, but in their understanding, I understand, okay, that is what they would like to. Now, the way proposed in NEP to end, as I told you, this is the idea, okay. So, by transforming HEIs into multidisciplinary universities, colleges, and cluster and knowledge hubs. So that's what they would like to aim at. Fine. They are ready. They are ready with ideas and plans. I don't know whether we are ready. Fine. Sister no says no, we are not ready. Mari Stella sister says I am not ready. Of course I do not know what about you. I am also not. Fine. Now these are the three types of institutions just they are mentioning here. Okay. Now, multidisciplinary research intensive universities. Now, there will be universities which will be concentrating on only research. Mainly. Of course, they will be teaching, but mainly on research, and that too multidisciplinary nature. Okay, first thing. Secondly, multidisciplinary teaching intensive universities. Of course, there will be universities, they will be concentrating on teaching. May not be concentrating too much on the research. Fine. Those universities also multidisciplinary universities. Fine. Now coming to next one, degree awarding multidisciplinary autonomous colleges smaller than a university. Okay, fine. I do not know where each of our colleges will be. Now, so these are three types. Fine. The next one, their aim is by 2035 all affiliated colleges should become degree awarding multidisciplinary autonomous college institutions. Fine. So all our colleges should become like this by 2035. And they have given two types. Affiliated colleges, who can become. So all our colleges, I think in my opinion, are affiliated colleges, fine. Now degree awarding autonomous colleges, you can become, or else constituting units of universities. Okay, fine. So these are one of the aspects which they mention here. Fine. By 2035 we should become, fine. Now academic collaboration between institutions. How can the academic collaboration can take place? Fine. Through higher education clusters. That's what we are going to discuss. Fine. Now leading to multidisciplinary education and research in different modes. Fine. Merger of single stream institutions with other multidisciplinary institutions. I don't know what they exactly mean, single stream institutions. Fine. I do not know whether commerce institution alone or science institution alone or MBA. I do not know. Maybe. Fine. Fine. Now strengthening of institutions by adding departments. So many subjects they have given. What are they? Subjects like such as languages, literature, music, philosophy, Indology, arts, dance, theatre, education. All these things we are giving. We are teaching. In all our institutions we are having. Okay, fine. Now, cluster of colleges. So having just briefly understood that concept, I mean the introduction, fine, why, what. Now, we are going to little bit, we would like to know about cluster of colleges. So everything is there in the UGC website. This is nothing new. Just I have taken exactly from the UGC website draft guidelines for transforming higher education institutions into multidisciplinary institutions. Fine. It was also sent by Father Arakul to me. Of course, it is there on the website. Okay, UGC website. Okay, if you find it difficult, you can ask him. He will send you the UGC. Yeah, it is there in the UGC. Father has taken trouble to go to the UGC. You will be busy. Some of you will be busy. You can ask him. He will directly send you a copy. Okay. One. Yeah. This is what you sent. Okay, fine. I also gone through the UGC website, but still it was very easier for me to print print a copy of this one. Fine. Only 16 page document. Fine. About this. Fine. Pardon me, sister. Yeah. Now, what is cluster of colleges? Single stream institutions and multidisciplinary institutions with poor enrollment. Poor enrollment. Yeah, what is poor enrollment? They will tell you later. Fine. Or due to lack of employment-oriented innovative multidisciplinary courses. Okay. Fine. So, and lack of financial resources to maintain and manage the institutions can improve enrollment by becoming members of clusters and by offering multidisciplinary programs. So remember the UGC, not UGC, the central union government has almost decided to stop funding, and some of your colleges would have faced this problem, except few colleges, except few states. And most of the states have stopped funding the aided faculty members. Fine, I was told. For example, Andhra. Am I right? Andhra, Telangana. Fine. So, some of the states, fine. Some states we get still funding, but after retirement, I do not know. Fine. So, their aim is all the institutions should become self-sufficient, self-manageable institutions. This is what they aim. Okay, fine. If you have money, you run the program. If you don't have, close it. Close it. You don't ask me. Ask us. Please remember, not only BJP government, even earlier also the Congress government itself thought that education is a liability. In their policy document, they mentioned 6% of the GDP should be spent to the education, but in actuality not even 1.3% something. Okay, so in their assessment opinion, it is we are
Father?
yeah.
Two more minutes.
Oh, 2 more minutes. I have not. Okay, sorry. Fine. Thank you. Yeah. So 2 more minutes. Oh. So now, this is the idea. Okay, fine. Now, in case of private colleges forming a cluster, trust or society, all of us are private, so we have to form a cluster. Okay, fine. Now, this is the idea. Board of Governors, all those things. It is there for your reference if you go to the website. Now, how can it be formed? So, Board of Governors is there, Academic Council, Finance Committee should be there, cluster of colleges, all those, fine. Now, characteristics of cluster colleges. Students partly in parent institution and partly in partnering institution of the cluster college. Fine. So, if we become a cluster colleges, fine. Primarily they will join one institution, and also afterwards they will take some courses, fine. And shall be academic council and finance, all those things for it. Fine. Now, financial resources will be pooled to ensure that money is utilized to the holistic growth of students. Fine. So all those things we have to carefully look into that. Of course, we don't have any other chance. I don't think so. We have to look for this one only, unless they change the policy. Fine. The facility, okay, for all those things are small things. Fine. Now, last one, there will be no changes in the recruitment, appointment, allowance. That's what they say. I do not exactly what do they mean, and I do not know what would happen. Fine. Now, this is the board of directors. The board of management or board of directors will be like this. Okay, chairman will be there, all those things. But my concern is last 7th point, one principal from the cluster of colleges nominated by the government. That is question mark. We should be very, very careful. I do not know which government, state government or central government, of course state government only, but how will they appoint? Fine. So that we have to. Now once again, for the private colleges, same thing, 9th point, one principal from the class, this is for us, private colleges, okay. One principal, last point, one principal from the cluster of colleges as nominated by the government. Now which means we may lose our minority status. We may not have the power to appoint a person as the principal, which means we do not know who will come. Of course, if not all the cases, some cases, few cases, there will be problems. Fine. So those are some important aspects, concerns, and challenges which are important. Fine. Now, the composition of the academic council also more or less like this. Fine. Anyhow, there are also certain issues. Yeah, fine. The composition of the finance committee. Fine. Now, approval process, all those things are there. Here also approval process, the norms and standards set by the concerned regulatory bodies as applicable are, the duration of the program, all those things are there. Here also some hitches are there. We have to be very careful. Fine. Fine. To be approved by the statutory bodies of a university in accordance with the regulations and guidelines set by the regulatory bodies. So, unless you have good understanding with the parent university, I doubt. You know how vice chancellors are appointed, how vice chancellors are given direction by the governor. For example, in Tamil Nadu, governor is meeting all the vice chancellors. Such things never happened in the history. Fine. All those things you have to keep in mind. Now, consolidation of the you just tell me it is over. Okay, fine. Now, last thing. Fine. Now, member colleges of in a cluster continue to be affiliated to university. Fine. All those things are given. Fine. So these also we have to take into consideration. Okay. Fine. Now, affiliating university will affiliate the cluster colleges as one unit. Supposing in Cochin you have few colleges which don't have the enrollment of 3,000. They will come together, and for them one parent cluster college will be a cluster college will be there. All other colleges will be associated. I don't know how they are going to implement it practically, those things. But as Father said yesterday when we were discussing, there is no other option also. All the colleges may not go for the university status. We cannot. It's impossible. Okay. So such issues are there. Now, operational requirements, all those things are minute details are there. Fine. Yes, you can go through it. These are some of the highlights. Fine. You can just read it in the on the website of the UGC. Fine. If you have issues, we will discuss later. Yes, sir.
Right. So thank you very much. Please give a hand to Father Aragasamy, who had presented a very beautiful sort of an introduction to the concept of cluster universities and the multidisciplinary college. So thank you, Father Aragasamy. I wouldn't like to keep repeating what he has said, but we will come back to the question hour and we will ask some questions about it. The next speaker in the panel is Father L. Joji Reddy, again a Jesuit. And Father is the principal of Loyola Academy Degree and PG College, secondary. Yes. And Father is a scientist and educationist. As a scientist, he developed fervor for research. He has published over 26 international papers, 13 national and 20 conference publications in the field of biotechnology, and conducted various national and international seminars. He has also attended various seminars, and as the CV reveals that he has traveled wide, so to different countries, from the United States to Honolulu to many other places, and especially his postdoctoral work and thesis is on cancer. So a very important research topic, and he has presented again paper on molecular characterization of bacterial blight pathogen. You can explain to me afterwards what it is. Of 2 local high yielding varieties. Okay, we don't know what it is. Anyway, Father is also the Vice President of the Xavier Board and a very active member, and we have seen on the first day when he gave the vote of thanks, it was a thundering speech, I told him. So an eloquent speaker and a very young person, and looks like a very exuberant person too, from our observation. So thank you, Father, for accepting to be in the part of the panel. And Father would love sort of a respond to the introduction given by Father Arakesami, and we'll also develop this concept of further he will develop what it means, whether it is about a research intensive university or a teaching intensive university, or about degree awarding colleges, things like that. He will go deep into it. Thank you, Father.
All of us had breakfast this morning. So what is the menu for the breakfast? We had appam, the other one, round one, what is it known as? Idiyappam. Then some soup is there. Then bread is there. Stew, okay. Bread is there, jam is there. Multidisciplinary is nothing but what we had. It's like our breakfast. And cluster college is nothing like, most of the men folk yesterday they expected something else in the boat. And cluster college is like that. The main menu and at the same time sub menu. It's nothing but cluster college. I begin from here, dear chair, my companion, Reverend Father Dr. Arakesami, my juniorate companion, and my theology companion, the Reverend Dr. Sister Christina, and dear President, dear General Secretary, dear Vice Chancellors, Chancellors, Principals, Sisters, and Professors, every one of you. Yesterday, Professor Balakrishnan ended his talk with where the mind is without fear and the head is high. So there we need to understand, we need to be very strong. We are the chosen generation for this generation. And we are running unique colleges. They are not ordinary colleges. They are very unique. When we think of each and every institution is very unique. And Xavier Board is nothing but a multidisciplinary board where all these unique colleges come together. And we all of us know NEP 2020 stands on 5 pillars. What are those 5 pillars? That is nothing but access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. So these are the 5 pillars for NEP, and which all of us are following that. We have access to ordinary students, extraordinary students. We are maintaining equity because our admissions are for everybody. We don't close admissions for distinguishing or demarcating any person. And definitely we are known for quality. Definitely 100%. Our institutions are qualitative institutions. And our fees, any student can afford to get into our institutions. And we are accountable. We are accountable to the nation, not only to the nation, not only to the state, but also to ourselves. So that's what we are, and we need to affirm this statement. And tomorrow, if anybody there is most of us fear. Slowly, the government, the union government, is slowly sucking our colleges to merge into the national, into the national unit as such. May happen, may not happen, but many educators feel that the basic idea is this by introducing all these colleges. So on one side we need to be aware of it, and on the other side we need to welcome this NEP because it has a lot of parameters where we ourselves can educate and where we can educate our own institutions. You know very well, in our institutions we do from admission to, we help the students are the first stakeholders. Students are our first stakeholders. From admission to employability, we work with our students. And not only to employability, but we help them to enhance in competitive studies, and also we help them to enhance into higher education, wheresoever they want. And we march with our students, and because we believe that they are our first stakeholders. And that's where our institutions are. And there is nothing to adopt into NEP as such. Only thing is what we need to be careful about is ABC. That is academic branch of credits. And thanks to Father Arakkal for envisaging this unique what we call composition and collaboration of networking. Why? See, already if our institutions are together, if our institutions are together, we can share our own students. Yes, Loyola Academy has 33 disciplines and 7 PG courses. And if at all if your students are interested, focus on Loyola Academy, St. Xavier's Bombay, or Albert's College, or St. Anne's College in Hyderabad, or whatsoever it may be. The more idea that we have about our institutions, the more we can access to one another and we can help our students. We need not help our students to go out of our institutions, and such a way we need to model it. Only thing is we need to have prudence. And the first basic thing that we have done is networking. And as one of them were telling, it shouldn't be a dormant networking. It should be an active networking. From tomorrow onwards, our nodal officers, because each institution should have a nodal officer, and that nodal officer should able to contact all these institutions. What is the program that you are taking up, and what are the programs that we have, and can we collaborate together and organize a seminar or a national seminar or an international seminar. Such should be the practice from tomorrow onwards. It shouldn't be dormant, because it should be active. Only when we are active, then only we can say that we are together, and we can exchange our students. Because when the students come to know that so many disciplines, when we are around 100 colleges, and in each college minimum 10 disciplines are there, maximum 30 to 40 disciplines are there. If all the disciplines they come to know, definitely they have more choices in this institutions. They have more choices. They will not go out. But only thing is, we need to prove our mettle. And if you take a back seat at this juncture, then definitely it's not going to work for us. On the other hand, what we need to understand is what is cluster. Cluster is nothing but, again they are saying, just now father has explained, the institutions, those who have less than 3,000 could come together, 4 or 5 institutions, and can establish. Again there is a danger. It's a kind of sucking model. Because as you are aware, again in NEP we have 4 regulatory bodies. National Higher Education Council of Education, NAC is there, General Education Council, and these are the councils. They come under straight away under the Ministry of India. And Ministry of India, slowly they are contemplating how to get back these institutions, mainly the minority institutions. And if you are not performing well, and if you are not getting into this concept, definitely you will be the loser. That's why either you aim at increasing your strength, or cluster with like-minded colleges. From now onwards, you contemplate how to cluster with like-minded colleges, where you need to select one major menu, that is major college, which has 2,500 to 3,000 strength, and rest of the standalone institutions like B.Ed colleges. Father was asking, what are the standalone institutions? You have B.Ed colleges. So B.Ed colleges, or even IITs are standalone institutions. IIMBs are standalone institutions. They all have to become multidisciplinary. And in the process of multidisciplinary, of course, we don't come under multidisciplinary standalone institutions. We have School of Commerce, we have School of Computer Sciences, we have Life Sciences, we have Physical Sciences, we have Commerce. So we don't come under that. We don't come under most of our institutions. But if you have B.Ed colleges, more or less search around in and around which college is better. And from now onwards, this morning Father Melki was telling, we need to shut off our egos. And get clustered into those. But the problem is, impending problem is, the implication what can be is, in cluster college, every college should have one person to be on, one or two persons to be on the governing board, and the chairman of the governing board could be a government nominated person, and there lies the problem. But on one hand, see, most of the institutions are aided institutions. Self-financed institutions, there is no problem, but aided institutions, it would be a problem. And we need to know how to wriggle out from this and come out and in order to establish our own cluster college. And again, see, some or the other, if the strength is more than 3,000 to 5,000 or more, make sure that not only getting into autonomy degree granting colleges, but get into immediately if your state permits. If your state, don't get into RUSA, don't get into deemed to be university, you will be cut off. But get into state university. And what is the benefit of the state university? State university has minimum regulations. No, and it can run a state university and it can give a state university status to you. Example is no, XIMB in Bhubaneswar, and even Calcutta we have St. Xavier's University. No, and no, where we have lesser regulations and where we have lesser monitor from the center. And state universities are permitted these days. Even in Telangana, no, state universities are permitted. So better go for teaching intensive universities. We cannot become, and they will not take us into research intensive universities, because if it becomes, of course St. Joseph Trichy can become, because they have all the presidents, most of the, even our former president is from St. Joseph Trichy. No, they can become, but provided that you have a very strong research and where all the papers are published in Nature or high qualified or high mentioned international journals, in the sense well equipped journals. Otherwise, no, if you are not into that, you cannot become into research intensive university. Only the government is funding for research intensive universities. They are not funding neither teaching intensive universities or autonomic degree granting colleges. They are not going to fund. And only individually you can get funds very rarely, and now these days it has become very sporadic. No, if you have high caliber in your research field, from DST or DBT or from other resource agencies, otherwise UGC itself has stopped. Very recently I met Shakil Ahmad, who is the cornerstone, who is the person who distributes funds to all the institutions. Shakil Ahmad is a very nice person, and he said now everything is been closed. Only thing is the new windows have to be opened where we can get, where we can enlighten. But you people to be very smart in order to capture immediately. Some of us to tell you frankly, we are appointed people. No, we are very relaxed once when we are appointed. We are not proactive. No, we need to become hyperactive. And when do you become hyperactive? When you have knowledge in your subject, in your field. And when we become principals, definitely we need to have the laws and regulations that are that are given in the regulation books as such. And we need to have correct and written policies for our institutions. Don't forget that. 1 minute or 2 minutes. So we need to have written regulations of our staff, written regulations. Policies are very, very important for our institution. And when we have policies, we have directions. And we need to move as for the directions. If you don't have policies, please create policies for your institution. And above this, Father has started with networking. Now, just this morning I got 1 or 2 insights from Madam Smita also. See, why can't we go for joint curriculum development? Joint curriculum development. So this is also another area in future we will contemplate. No, as we get enhanced with our networking and with our MOUs, we need to think of joint curriculum development and also collaborative research. Whosoever are in the same field or in different fields, let it be an integrated field. See, I collaborate whosoever, though my field is in biotechnology and on cancer, but still I collaborate with the statisticians and mathematicians and even life science people and even sometimes even commerce people, and we write a paper. So that sort of integrity is required in order to come out with our flying colors. So dear friends, I will answer to whatever the questions you ask, because the chairperson has given me the time out. So thanks a lot for listening to me. God bless.
Thank you, Father Joji, for that very beautiful input. And you have raised quite a few questions and also suggested quite a few models on how we can collaborate further, how we can network further, because I think that is the only survival mode I think we have in the country today. And the more we collaborate and network and share the knowledge that we have, probably our colleges will stand to gain in the long run, because the concept of cluster university or multidisciplinary colleges can be had with our own Christian institutions. So possibilities are there, and we need to further explore. So thank you for your input. And now we have Sister Christina with us. and Sister Christina Coutinho of Loreto College. Sister is a principal of Loreto College and has been associated with higher education since 1983 and now teaching and administering. She is also very passionate about in passing on values to young people. And Loreto College is a liberal arts women's college of 110 years standing. And I think the sister is from the science stream, but as managing the arts and arts stream college now. And known to be a very affectionate person and person who also plans, and the other panelists were telling me yesterday that sister prepares her points very well and says it well, and the floor is yours, sister.
Good morning, Father Chair, my co-panelists, okay, right, Father Arakal, Sister Teresa, and our other friends who come together. I think I can call you friends, who come together for this Xavier board meeting. No, I'll go closer. Is this better? Yes, perhaps I was a little further away. Okay. Yeah. We are all like-minded colleges, and I think cluster colleges, in a way, is an escape for us like-minded colleges to work together. Although many states have not accepted NEP, Bengal hasn't, Calcutta University hasn't. Although we haven't accepted NEP, I think one day we'll have to go in for it. There is no escape. In the light of this, it's no point fighting against it. We need to think about how we can work with NEP to make the best for our institutions. And so like-minded colleges coming together to enable diversification of options for students, for courses, for subjects, while belonging to one college. NEP is basically student-based. The focus is the student. And so options for students, opportunities for students is in the fore. I was told that there's a pilot project proposed by Osmania University, Hyderabad, wherein 9 colleges, between 9 colleges, it will be 1 cluster, 2 clusters will be formed, such that this cluster college pilot project comes into the fore. Am I right? Yes. Now the main purpose of cluster colleges will be to enable students coming from different backgrounds, faculty, human resources, to bring about a multidisciplinary approach that students who've taken arts, for example, could take music. We are a liberal arts college, we have only humanities. And so for us, it will be an escape if we were to cluster with another college with the permission of the University of Calcutta to form a group of colleges, Christian colleges, if not Catholic colleges, just so that we work together and enable our students to benefit. The main purpose of this again will be to ensure quality and also to ensure more opportunities for students for careers. But the challenge will be, how are we going to pay staff when there are just 2 or 3 students within a group, a subject? Say music, how am I going to pay staff when there are just 2 or 3 students, and if this is going to be permitted? We may be able to help each other in clusters, wherein we get 2, 3, 4 from each cluster, each institution, and we come together and strengthen our stand. I also know that it will be not the first year degree students who will be offered this or these options, but second year degree students, so that in the second year, while nurturing them in the first year, but in the second year they take off and they go to they go for some classes to an adjacent college or a neighboring college or a cluster college, whatever you want to call it, and then they come back to the mother college for further classes. But the challenge is going to be the university has to accept credit transfer. And that is why the main sanctioning authority will be the university and not the colleges coming together. Now that for us in Bengal is going to be a challenge. To convince, may I say it quietly, the chief minister and not the vice chancellor. Okay? This is how it is in Bengal, but this is reality. This will also enable mobility of students to move from place to place, from institution to institution, to get the best of each institution, because each institution has its own culture and its own strengths, and so to get the best of institutions would help our students. At this point of time, maybe I'd like to talk about the Nai Talim of Mahatma Gandhi. He wanted, it may be at the school level, but he wanted, say for example, a farmer to learn the history, geography, the culture of the farm, the chemistry of the soil, biology of the seeds, the entomology of pests. Right? He wanted persons to learn that. That was the real education of a farmer. Similarly, for a carpenter, he had to learn physics, he had to learn chemistry of the wood, treatment of the wood, again entomology for parasites. Now this is just an ideal model that would enable multidisciplinary approach in a narrower sense than what they would like nursing, medicine, so on and so forth. If only this was possible, if only it had been started earlier, and if only it was possible. But I guess this is what cluster colleges, the theme of cluster colleges may just enable. The teaching faculty also would need to be exchanged. Now with us going online with COVID, it is possible that teachers, faculty could be exchanged. We are taking a class here, students elsewhere could be looking at the class, attending the class, paying attention, doing assignments. In that way, it's a little easier in the online mode, but again with the sanction of the university, just like Osmania University has sanctioned this. Also sharing of other resources like the library, laboratory, so if the students come and have a better lab, they could come to the better lab. Okay. Also, if there is social work being done in a particular institution, they can come and learn and reach out. Leadership qualities can be enhanced. Lab facilities, instrumentation could be also enhanced. Meanwhile, could be used, instrumentation lab could be used by students doing small research projects or even assignments and projects at the undergraduate level. The timetable will have to be modified in such a manner that students moving from college to college will be able to come for the sessions. And this is another challenge. In Bombay University, we have it at the master's level where classes for science students are taken in the afternoon. So something of that sort will have to be arranged. And that's not impossible, it is possible. And the main purpose of cluster colleges, as I can see, is to enable smaller colleges like us, where our strength is 900, although we are 110 years old, because this is all the space we have, to join other colleges lest we lose our identity as Christian institutions. I think that is the biggest concern for us. At the same time, to enable our students to think big, to think broad, higher order thinking, critiquing, problem solving, reaching out to others, leadership qualities. All these are the main purpose of, as I would look at it, to make the most of cluster colleges. If there's anything else you'd like to ask, I may be able to answer. Over to you.
So thank you, Sister Christina, for raising very profound issues, and Sister seems to be already very interested in implementing it. No? I agree. She sees various possibilities and takes the example of Osmania University, and also sees how, and if we have quite a few Catholic colleges around, I think clustering can happen very automatically and very naturally, I think. No? So it can happen. But it also can happen with other like-minded colleges. Well, now, it's already 10:34. Okay, maybe another 15 minutes at least. Okay. So, about 45 up to 40. So can we take some questions from the floor? It can be either by way of question, or you can also share if a certain point has been left out or you want to emphasize. But please do not take it as a very big talk. Just to take it as a less than a minute, your intervention. Your intervention can be less than a minute. So would anyone like to start asking question to any of the panelists here? Or would you like to say a point of your own? You're welcome. Yes, please introduce yourself and ask a question.
I am Father Johnson from Zenzias, Ahmedabad. Would just like to bring an observation in this whole concept of clustering of colleges. Certain colleges which are situated in rural background, especially in North India, would most likely lose out their identity because they may not have other colleges to cluster around, and the whole education, higher education will move towards the cities, which should be a disadvantage for the rural public. So.
Yes, Jerome.
I am Dr. Jerome from Bangalore. The first thing is, I am not sure whether we have understood cluster and collaboration. The MOU that we have is between Catholic colleges in any part of India which can collaborate with each other through MOU. But the idea of cluster college, as far as I have understood, because NEP has been implemented in Karnataka, is to attach those colleges which are very, very weak, particularly keeping in mind the government colleges which do not have facilities, to be attached to nearby good colleges, in all probability Catholic colleges or minority colleges. And therefore it may not be as per our intention or selection. The second question for Catholic colleges is, within a college when two persons do not agree, the principal and vice principal can't agree, face each other. The two colleges which have different mission statement, different vision statement, I am not sure whether we will be willing to have cluster colleges. Second, the third one, students cannot choose from one university to another. Within the university, they can choose different colleges after first year or second year. And therefore, I am not too sure how it is going to be student friendly or student effective. Moreover, when a student is in an institution, he or she may not like to discontinue within a year or two once she gets affinity towards, or she is more attached to the institution and the faculty members. Therefore, this looks ideal, but it is not viable. The last one I'd like to bring to your notice is, in Karnataka, having implemented NEP, the government of Karnataka, particularly the higher education minister and his PA, at the touch of the finger button, they have all the information of all the first year students all over Karnataka, including the faculty members, their data, their phone number, email, everything is with them. So the government is slowly taking control of situations, and which, although a few states like Tamil Nadu and West Bengal might oppose, in the longer period it looks like all of us might fall in line with these states. Therefore you have to be mentally prepared.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jerome, and Father Georgie would respond.
The first question is one or the other same what we have explained, because one strong college which is enjoying 3,000 strengths, that means they have facility, and rest of the colleges should able to cluster with this strong college, and they should able to share the resources. So that is that is a general thing. And what are the resources that you are going to share? A few things. Sister Christine has narrated a few things. And the second thing is, every college is going to become independent college in future. Either it be a cluster college, no college is going to be affiliated college or constituent college. Every college should become independent. Either you should be autonomous degree granting college, or teaching intensive university, or research intensive university. It should fall one among these three colleges, and that's what the NEP very clearly says. And To mention one example, Andhra in Telangana, as Sister Christian mentioned, we are called 3 to 4 times all the autonomous colleges of Telangana, particularly in Hyderabad state. So what we have done is, though all our Catholic colleges are very strong in Hyderabad, but the first step that we have taken is to show to them that we collaborated, we already exchanged MOUs in front of our Archbishop already. So, and we came like a like-minded group, and we told them that we are one group, and we are going to tell them. Their ideology is different, but still they are imposing on us, to establish cluster colleges and all. Very recently, a week ago, we had a meeting with our CCE and Telangana State Council of Higher Education and with the 2 vice chancellors, about this, implementation of this cluster. So, but it depends a little, it varies a little bit from state to state, Jerome. Thank you.
Yes, next one. Yes.
I think regarding cluster colleges, we need to differentiate between 2 types of colleges. Basically, if you are within the 200 brackets of our NIRF, you are on a safer side. There is a possibility that you will be, most probably will be degree awarding college, slowly. But if you are not within the NIRF ranking, and they have set 3 criteria. One is, at least you should have completed 3 cycles of accreditation. Second is you should be above 3 A grade. Then the third one is like you are within the 200 brackets of NIRF. They may start with the first 20, then they will go for next to 50, then 100 and 200. That is the slow process that they are going into. But remember what happens to single entity, maybe discipline colleges. For example, B.Ed colleges. We have so many B.Ed colleges here. They have only 100 students and single discipline. And they have clearly said, you are either going to be constituent college or part of something. So make sure all those colleges, you need to think of cluster colleges in a really positive way. Otherwise it becomes difficult at a later stage. Thank you.
Yeah, what Father mentioned was correct. But for other institutions, when we form cluster colleges, some colleges will lose their identity, okay, and uniqueness, and even their name and heritage, all those things. Of course, the nuances, the nitty-gritties are not worked out. I don't know how they are going to. Yeah. We don't have the details as of now. Only when we have the details, except Father Oracle mentioned or those aspects, and only we will come to know about that. Otherwise, they have given a policy document. The policy, they mentioned these are the details. Fine. But other details, nitty-gritty, we have to wait for that. Then only we will understand. Not only we cannot choose our cluster colleges, parent institution and partner institution, or otherwise host institution and the other institution which would be joining us as cluster institution. For example, if a government college which is close by is joining us, I do not know how the functioning of day-to-day administration will be very, very difficult. I do not know all those things. Fine. Of course, we have little bit experience of having Parama scheme. I think most of our colleges are Parama institutions, which helped the other institutions to get the accreditation. Fine. Those are very little aspects, very little helps which we did for the other institutions. But I do not know. Yeah, we have to wait and see. Fine.
Right. Is there any other question? Yes?
Father Maridas.
This is Maridas, the principal of St. Xavier's College, Palayamkoti, Tamil Nadu. Having read some of the documents and after listening to the panelists, I feel all of us have two issues. That is, one is survival the other one is sustainable. These two issues are in front of us, whether we like it or not. It's going to be much more in future. How are we going to survive in future in terms of the challenges that are facing us? We need to very seriously think, because our own survival is very much at stake, practically in all over country, because of this NAP or other documents. Similarly, our own sustainability, it is very much at stake again in terms of admissions or financial sustainability. All those things need to be addressed. If not today, at least in future, we need to seriously think about it. But when we read the documents, when the documents suggest that whether it is cluster or degree awarding status, all these things look very interesting, very promising, very green. But are they really applicable to us? If we are going to adopt all these things, definitely our own identity will be very much at stake, our Christian identity. That's what I feel. Therefore, we as a forum, we need to think at two levels. One is, how are we going to practically identify some areas of existence in terms of admissions, in terms of appointment, in terms of our own administrations. The VCs and the OGDs and at the national level, everybody has started interfering in our administration. How are we going to face that one? The second one is, how are we going to ensure our legal existence? All our institutions are facing enormous difficulties in terms of legal existence. Therefore, at the national level or at the state level or at the regional level, we need to seriously think, how are we going to ensure our legal existence as well as our practical existence? Thank you.
Yes, can we take one or two more questions? And then we'll see. Father's points is very valid. Okay. Yes, we will take one or two more. Hand behind.
Here.
Good morning, one and all. This is Ronald Coutinho from St. Philomena's College, Mysore, Karnataka. This is regarding one of my Bangalore principal has spoken. I just want to add, there is a draft guidelines circulated just now also. It is there available in the UGC website. And if you look at the point number 8, there is a chance, a scope for cluster of colleges by the same management. If that can be taken as an advantage, one, so we can recommend the same management is running the multidisciplinary college or together with the education colleges, is there a chance of merger of these two colleges? And the second point is certain issues raised by the other participants. Why can't the Xavier board can bring out some kind of a resolution in this meet and recommend that, since it's a draft of guidelines, you can recommend to the UGC, you can have something like this. That can also be taken. So that's my earnest request.
That's a very important question. Yes, taken. And any, yes, sister.
This is Sister Ashwini. I just want to add, Father, when he said our legal existence is at stake. About this, what is our Christian identity? We cannot go for our values. Like in Karnataka, it's happening. There was big issue on Bible conversion, etc. So where do we stand in this scenario? Because as Christian institutions, our main mission is mission of Christ. So where will the mission of Christ stand in today's NAP situation? Thank you.
I request Sister Christina to respond.
Sister and everyone present here, I'm just wondering if Christian colleges within the geographical area of the university could be together. It would make a difference. Otherwise, we will dissolve into thin air. You will just sublimate and it makes no sense. I understand your concern and I fully appreciate it. The only solution is this: if we get together and there has to be an understanding. So the presidents of the governing body of these institutions, assuming that they are of different congregations, could get together and come to a common consensus. That is the only way we can survive and we can sustain ourselves, as Father said. Otherwise, there is no possibility. But the university will have to be tackled at a different level, saying and convincing them that this is possible. A lot of give and take has to be there. There will be some sort of a dissolution of some of the the vision mission statements will have to be modified slightly because of that. That will take place, but then unless there is a give and take, I don't think we'll survive. And we are doing a tremendous job with young people, educating them at the tertiary level. I think that we will definitely be of relevance if we continue to bury our differences and work together as a team.
I think we should conclude, because we are just moving. Just give me 2 minutes just to conclude. Right? So, dear friends, we have had a very important discussion and on a topic that which is very contemporary and very important to us, namely the NEP section 10.1 and 10.2. What we have discussed about is a multidisciplinary and the cluster colleges, as I had said in the introduction. By way of concluding, we have had many points raised by the panelists as well as by the floor. Now, I would like to take one or two important things that are there. First of all, the cluster university and the multidisciplinary colleges, they have not yet come to be implemented, but are on the verge of being implemented. Okay. So, in the ground reality, we wouldn't know, as we had raised, will the government approve our own Catholic university and colleges coming together as a cluster? We will not know. If they put together, as sister said, they will have to be from the same university, okay, same university and not from some other universities. We have to see what is going to be there. And another father or brother raised up an issue about the urban and the rural divide. The urban colleges have advantage in clustering together. But what about the rural place? Do they have enough colleges to cluster together? And can clustering come by ourselves? Somebody had raised, but is it possible? Is it a reality? We do not know. Because if the government or the university puts together a few colleges together, then do we have a say? Then what about our Catholic identity, if that is so? These are the questions that are there. So there are those who have higher ranking, we always will have, as Father Ekel said, probably will have at least something to say. If you are a constituent college or a degree awarding college, probably you have certain strength by which you can stand. Otherwise, if you do not have the right number and if you have just a single stream, then probably you will be clustered together, or you may have to dissolve certain times your college if you do not have the right number and if you do not have the multi-streams. That's what is going to happen in the future. And either will have to be research intensive or teaching intensive, isn't it? So these are two important things that we need to be. And you will have to choose, as Father was saying earlier, please choose in which your colleges has to be really intensive about, okay? Because you cannot just say, we are doing a little of this, little of that, but you have no higher ranking, nor do you have excel in any streams, then probably you don't have much to say when the clustering comes, okay? So these are a few issues that we have put together. There are, somebody has said already, if certain states have already opposed and certain states have already started accepting it. You all know which states are keen on implementing it. But the reality is that it has not taken place. It is yet to take place, but it may take place. So, dear friends, we'll have to keep watching the situation very closely and also keep in touch with the Higher Education Secretariat. I think you should also be able to give them time and again input about what is happening. Because now the very fact of coming together as a networking body is one of the best things to happen. Okay, as I have said also in the masses today, that this is probably in the last quite a few years the most resourceful gathering that we have seen, okay, of the church. I think the thinking people, yes, especially the colleges coming together to share, not just to come and listen to a seminar and go, but to share your resources, which means your people, time and everything, and also willing to collaborate with less fortunate colleges and colleges which are in the rural areas, which is truly Catholic, truly Catholic. And I wish the Xavier Board every success in making it, seeing to the implementation of it, and not just a functional one, but to make sure. Because the next year when you come here together, you all should have a positive report about this networking and collaboration. And I'm sure this will lead to a type of a clustering, first in the mindset, and then probably easy also when it comes to the practical clustering of it. Will that be okay? So, sister? So, thank you very much, dear panelists, for sharing your knowledge. And thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have concluded our panel discussion. The success of this collaborators meet was greatly contributed by today's panel discussion. We would like to place on record our gratitude to all the panelists as well as the moderator for making this session informative, thought-provoking, and of course enriching. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Maria Charles Anthony Swami, Secretary Education Commission, CBCI, New Delhi, for your insightful and pertinent questions that made the conversation going. A word of thanks to Reverend Dr. L. Joji Reddy, Vice President, Xavier Board of Higher Education in India, for your insightful views and for the way you kept us all at the height of our attention. Thank you, Reverend Dr. M. Aragyasammy, Xavier, Principal, St. Joseph's College, Autonomous, Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu, for keeping the discussion current and applicable. And also thank you to Reverend Sister Dr. Christine Cudino, Principal, Loreto College, Calcutta, for gracefully combining various interests of the audience along with your experience. It was a real pleasure to listen to each one of you. To mark our gratitude, we would like to present mementos, kindly requesting Reverend Dr. Joby Joseph, St. Anthony's College, Shillong, to hand over memento to the moderator, Reverend Dr. Maria Charles Anthony Swami, Secretary, Education Commission, CBCI, New Delhi. I repeat, Dr. Joby Joseph, St. Anthony's College, Shillong. Requesting Father Arakkal to do the honors. Thank you. Inviting Dr. Sister Velangani Kumari, Secretary, Andhra Telangana Region and Principal of Pius Degree College, Hyderabad, to present memento to Reverend Dr. Joji Reddy, Vice President, Xavier Board of Higher Education in India. Pleased to invite Dr. Sister Jacinda Quadras, Principal, Maristella College, Secunderabad, to hand over memento to Reverend Dr. M. Aragyasammy, Xavier Principal, St. Joseph's College, Autonomous, Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu. Requesting Dr. Sister Jay Shanti, Principal, Auxilium College, Vellore, to present our token of gratitude to Reverend Sister Dr. Christine Cudino, Principal, Loreto College, Calcutta. Requesting Sister Teresa, Secretary General of Xavier Board, to do the honors on behalf of Dr. Jay Shanti. Thank you so much, everyone. We are indeed happy to have you all amongst us. Thank you. We are now going for a tea break, or rather a networking break at the college canteen. Delegates can use this time for interacting with one another and also for signing MOUs. 6 counters are open and